You all have been loving my Crazy Lace Agate videos, and that's why we are bringing them back. I am having great business relationships with the mining partners there, and I get some of the finest material that they're finding at the Crazy Lace Agate mines. Almost all Crazy Lace Agates are only like a seam agate, like a layer, but all seams come to an end and sometimes they're closing down, and those are the segments, those really rare segments, which I'm buying in order to cut full-faced pieces. So I hope you're excited to see what these are gonna cut like. I almost always dip my agates into the oil to get them wet. That just really helps me to determine where exactly the banding is going, just because when they're wet you are able to see the banding much better. But it also helps me determine if there's any significant fracturing lines that I need to take care of. So what I will do is, just because it's slightly bumpy over here, that I will make a cross-cut section like this into the bands, sitting in there perfectly, just cutting into the corner of the black and white area to keep most of the contrast in the banding. So just above it, because it seems like these bumps are pushing in the banding a little bit more inwards. So it's okay that I'm missing the banding here, not cutting through, and just here on the sides. And this will hopefully get me the most contrast and beautiful structures in this piece. Oh, wow, that's sick. Whoa, that's insane. You already heard me a couple seconds ago. This is just such an incredible find and cut. Just the contrast is mind-blowingly good. Look at how sharp the black and white contrast is and how beautiful the pseudomorph structures of the original calcite crystals are in this piece, with the black and white outline really just a top-notch piece. The only thing I could wish for is that if the bubble was a little more complete to that side in order to keep a little bit more of a full face, but I think the cut has just been about perfect and the pattern is just out of this world. What a spectacular piece this is, really mind-blowing. The next one is slightly similar in shape with a bigger bump here, so this is also not like really a nodular find, but rather the outburst of a seam. However, here at the bottom I can't really see anything. I see some quartz going on and just very little agate banding. In order to not get too much quartz, I could really just cut the very tip off, just a little slight angular cut here to the side. So since it's pretty thin there, I should be able to catch some agate here in this slimmer area and probably have more of a quartz center further down below here. But it's really just a guessing game because I wasn't able to see much from the window. Pretty nice, but nothing too special. I mean, of course, the shape and beautiful banding here, but the banding is just not very deep. And inside you can just see a little bit of this carbonate and quartz in the very center. I mean, this is still like way better than the average kind of Crazy Lace Agate you would be finding in regular rough you're getting. But for me, it's not that special because I'm really just hunting down or trying to hunt down the most exceptional pieces that I can possibly find. And this is a neat one, but it will be up on my website for a very affordable price. Third one is a pretty exciting one. You can see a small window here, but here we have the beautiful side of the specimen with just the most epic red banding in the center. In this way I can really just avoid the largest area of the window by cutting right next to the banding on all sides here and staying as close as possible without getting into the banding in order to get two halves out of it. Just cutting the corners here all around the broken large front area, but still giving me a nice chunky backside. Sitting in all perfect. And ready to go. Whoa. Wow. 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 Great colors and contrast. What a wonderful and beautiful specimen this is. Just gorgeous colors and contrast in this piece. So it did keep a lot of the red banding and also of the center banding inside. Just unfortunately it does have a couple of those slightly black colored fractures that I've been mentioning earlier. and that of course takes a lot of the value and also beauty away. When I have fractured pieces, it really reduces the price and value for these pieces a lot, and I take that significantly into account when pricing these specimens in the end. So this is a beautiful piece, yet it will be still pretty affordable, and you can find it on my website right after watching the video. The fourth one is a charm, and just with this crazy shape. It is the end of a seam that's coming, so you can see all the bubbly structures. These are the results of the pseudomorphs of the original calcite crystals. You can see this big window up front here. It's entirely recrystallized with quartz, and it's extending up to over here to this side. Other than that, only the small window here on the back side, but of course the largest volume is over here. You can also see it's much wider on this side, but it's a little thicker a little further back, so I will really just keep the distance of just over an inch to the back here. I'm giving the window just a little bit of room to breathe, and then cut pretty parallel all the way to the window, with the chunky side reaching all the way to the back here. And now we're just ready to lower it onto the saw blade and get it cut. Oh yeah, pretty. Yeah, beautiful specimen here, and I could already see the fracturing line over there, but I didn't think it would come too much into account. But the fracture actually caused that there was a little bit more of a break actually on both sides. You can see this area here also broke off a little bit. It's just a little brittle, and this caused that the agate is beautifully banded, just a tiny little bit incomplete. But of course that is also something that takes away a lot of the value of a specimen like this in a high quality especially. But nevertheless, just gorgeous pattern, and of course a very nice banded beauty. We've had slightly similar pieces to this piece already in the video, where it's just like the end of a bumpy part, where the seam is just coming to an end. And here you can see just gorgeous banded window from the previous going seam. You can see there's a recrystallized part with little quartz crystals sprinkled all over the entire specimen. So I'm just like cutting all over the rim area here, just giving it a slight little room to breathe. So it's not going to be a super thin end cut, but rather a few millimeters thick, and then just go all the way around the corners to get one relatively thin piece and then one nice chunky backside. All right, it's in just the way I'd like it, and now it's really just waiting and seeing for the result and see how it's going to turn out. Wow, sexy. Wow, that's pretty. Another beautiful piece, just gorgeous banding, and that's really what I love about these special Crazy Lace Agates, is this beautiful full pattern that you just don't get to see very often. Beautiful eyes up here in this section, as well as this bubbly part in the other half. Just gorgeous banding, both with complete pictures. I just see a minor fracture down here at the bottom, but overall just a really great quality specimen. Another spectacular piece right here, just perfectly shaped like a triangle. And the special thing about this piece is also, you can see it still has the original calcite growth and just the agate forming on top of the calcite crystals. So in this case, it's not really just a replacement, but the agate growing on top of the crystalline calcite. The window from the front just reaches all the way up to the top here. So this is the narrowest part of the banding, so I will cut right over this corner here to keep both halves with as complete of a banding as I possibly can. On the back side you can see the window just extends to both sides, so I have a slim angle where I can cut through here, and another relatively large area where I can cut through here. But I'll try to stay closer to the front, but giving it a little bit of thickness of course as well. I can't turn it around anymore because there's really not much room left, and I adjusted it just perfectly now, and I'm just able to close the saw lid by turning it a little bit backwards here, the metal. But now all excited and ready. I have to turn it a little bit because it's too high here, so I have to adjust the cutting angle. Okay, all done and beautiful. Wow, look at that. Yeah, really gorgeous piece right here. I cut it right onto the corner and it opened up to just the beautiful triangle shape with this calcite crystalline center and the calcite pressing into the banding from the outside. So really beautiful specimen. I actually had another big piece of the same kind of seam nodule, and it also had beautiful crystalline calcite structures in the center of the druzy. This one, the calcite structures here are also very nice, but not quite as nice as the one I've been selling previously, but still just a really fantastic piece with a gorgeous shape, and you will be finding this killer specimen right up on my website while you're watching this video now. We are hitting the final boss right now. Just a monstrous piece with beautiful windows. You can see here just gorgeous pattern with different layers. It even looks like it has a floater with a center. So it's surrounded entirely by quartz crystals. You can see the druzy also nicely goes deep into the specimen, but I will be cutting somewhat right next to the broken area, and then once across the piece next to the broken banding here, and then all the way back over here. This agate is a little bit too big for my saw to handle. It's just too wide. I mean, this is probably like close to 10 inches wide, so I'm not able to close it. So what I'm gonna do now is just have it running while it's open and try to get as good of an oil coverage as possible just by hanging this old t-shirt over it, slowly lowering it onto the saw blade until this is far down enough that I can close it. But it's probably gonna be a few minutes of oil just trying to spill towards me. Whew. All right. Wow, that was adventurous. It was just too big for the saw, and I had to turn it all the way because otherwise the agate would have like sat on top of the side there, so I always had to twist it. So very adventurous. I haven't looked at it yet, so, and wow, this is a gorgeous piece. I mean, this is just an incredible piece in terms of the banding, the contrast, really special agate, and I think probably also one of the biggest agates I've ever been cutting in my saw. I don't think I've ever been running in that sort of trouble cutting pieces like this, but 10 inch is really just too big for this saw to handle. Rough crazy lace agates are not something I get very often. It typically happens about once or twice a year that my supplier is getting me the best of what he's been mining during those couple months that I didn't see him in between. Also, the full face pieces are just extremely rare to occur. So he's keeping some of the best pieces that he's mining specifically for me. I don't have a lot of the rough stones available, but there's 3 more batches of these Crazy Lace XL pieces, which all have the potential to cut really nice specimens with full faces, and they're already pre-packed. All the 3 lots contain 3 pieces each, and then there's one individual lot here with 1.75 kilos, which is up on my website as a separate lot, but this is all of what I have left for these full face Crazy Lace agates, and it's probably gonna be a couple months until I have the chance to get any new material of those. So if you'd like to cut some of your own and you have a big enough saw to handle those, then this is a great opportunity to get some really high-end Crazy Lace agate rough that is about 10 times better than most of the rough that you can find online. Looking back at all of the pieces, there's really not a single one that I can say I'm disappointed with. All of these have great colors, great banding, great contrast in the banding, and most important for me of all, having beautiful patterns, and especially the ones that have the full banding are definitely my favorite when it comes to Crazy Lace. We are going to get all of these polished, put them up on the website. While you're watching this video right now, these are available, so make sure to check those out. Let me know in the comments which is your personal favorite, since there is quite a lot of variation in these pieces. If you've cut some Crazy Lace agates yourself is something I would be interested in, and if you did, were there any chances for you to cut for any full face pictures? Subscribe to the channel if you like my content with these cutting videos. Also make sure to check out my website, of course, if you would like to add any of these specimens to your collections. And there's just tons of more wonderful agates available as well. I have a couple hundred agates on my website available, and you will also get a 20% automatic discount if you order more than 10 specimens at once. And there's also a very large sales section on my website where specimens are already discounted, and the 20% automatic discount will also be applied to specimens that are already discounted already in the sales section. So that's a great way to save some money if you like some of the beautiful specimens I have available. And I hope you enjoyed it all here, hanging out with me. And you'll get the chance to hang out with me because every week I'm dropping a new video. Thank you for watching.